Hello, of course, my name is Carson Graves, President and CEO of the Retirement Education Center.
And my name is Andrea, Director of Operations at the Retirement Education Center. And our goal for creating these educational videos, of course, is to help to make the difficult and confusing retirement process simple.
Absolutely, Andrea. And we say this every week. We do this by incorporating a team of strategic partners ranging from certified financial analysts, certified financial planners, estate attorneys, insurance advisors, and other needed professionals to help us build a comprehensive and holistic retirement plan that will let our clients know when, where, and how they can reach their retirement goals. And today, we're actually going to be providing you with a special treat because we're going to bring that strategic partnership to reality for you because we are going to be joined by one of our strategic partners, an estate attorney by the name of Mr. Brandon McGee, to help us understand the estate planning process, which is, of course, a really, really important process when it comes to your retirement planning solvency and how you're going to leave a legacy to your family. So we want everybody to stay locked into this channel. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel because we're going to be bringing this type of information to you now for the next few weeks in this series on estate planning. So we are really excited today at the Retirement Education Center to be joined by one of our really, really special partners. Now on our channel, we always talk about us having relationships and strategic partners that we like to go to for things that are out of our expertise. And of course, today I am joined by one of my good friends, Mr. Brandon McGee. He's an estate attorney here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And he is going to be talking about today, what is estate planning? So Brandon, if you would, just go ahead and introduce yourself real quick here. And let's start talking about what estate planning is.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Carson. I always enjoy interacting with you, and it's always very enlightening and fun. So I think we're going to have a very informative session here today and also have some fun with it.
Absolutely.
But as Carson said, my name is Brandon McGee. I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. And what that means is that that's what I focus my practice on. I don't practice 5, 6 different areas of the law. That is our focus, and really excited whenever I get the opportunity to help teach others about the topic.
Good. So Brandon, what we're going to do, a lot of times when we're looking at estate planning, my clients, a lot of times they ask questions about, should they have a will, a trust, making sure they can avoid probate, how to make sure that they can keep the assets that they actually have from actually going into probate if anything were to happen to them. So in your words, Brandon, what is estate planning? What is it if it just in layman's terms?
Okay, so I'll take 3 main topics in layman's terms that I think covers a lot of territory. Number 1 is simply when I pass away, who gets all my stuff? Who gets my retirement accounts? Who gets my house? Who gets my car? Who gets my business, right? And how is that going to happen? How are they going to get title and ownership of these things, my beneficiaries? So that's number 1 is how are we going to pass our things or worldly possessions that we don't take with us in the afterlife, right? How are we going to pass those down to the people left behind? Number 2 is going to be, what if at some point I or my spouse becomes mentally incapacitated? It could be Alzheimer's, a head injury, right? A bad stroke. And if I can't make good decisions for myself or any decisions for myself, period, who's going to step into my shoes and handle all my personal life business and my medical decision making that I normally would handle? And what's the best way to go about that? And then third is preparing for the possibility of long-term care. It's, some of you guys may know, it's becoming really expensive. It's becoming really prevalent. I feel like every time I turn around, I see a new assisted living or memory care unit being built. These companies are making a lot of money with these places. And so we want to prepare, and I know this is probably something that you're real concerned with too from your end, is how can the family best absorb that cost if that happens to the family? Absolutely. So I would say those are our 3 main topics. There's some smaller things that we look at as well, but that covers a lot of the territory right there.
So that's really great, Brandon, because you mentioned long-term care, and I've actually covered long-term care on my channel before. And so I'm sure my audience is going to be very excited to hear the other side of that as it relates to estate planning. So I am going to be
really, really excited as well for you to actually explain how long-term care is going to fit into maybe end of life or maybe protecting those assets that we try to build up at our company at the Retirement Education Center. We try to
Absolutely.
accumulate those assets, but of course, when they're actually being dispersed to their family members, to beneficiaries, that is probably one of the most critical aspects of those assets going the way our clients would like them to go continuously throughout their entire estate, whomever
Sure.
they may go to, their kids or grandkids and so forth. And so what I would like to do, Brandon, I want to cover a few topics that my clients, I told them that you're going to be joining me. So here's some of the things that I want to share with, the audience. And if you can just take us through just briefly the definition of some of these different aspects of estate planning, that would be great. So let's just go ahead and dive. I'm going to share my screen with you, Brandon, and you just expound on the different aspects of the estate planning process, if you would.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Brandon, I'm looking at the estate planning process here. So if you would, go ahead and talk to us about probate. What's the aspects of probate?
Okay, so the probate courts in Texas, and most other states I'm aware of, it's a similar situation, but I'm talking really about Texas specifically, exist for two reasons. Number one, if somebody passes away and they have not set up their estate to avoid the court system, and the family or whoever needs to get title to their assets. They, the spouse or the kids need to become owner of the home. They need to access the retirement accounts, the bank accounts, so that these things can be passed on to the next generation or to the spouse. The probate court is the court in which the judge in Texas will give the administrator or the executor who goes before the court the legal authority to go and access a deceased person's accounts, to go sell a deceased person's house, to sell their car. So we get that judicial legal authority from a judge to liquidate a deceased person's estate.
Wow.
Number two, the probate courts exist to help with what we call guardianship in Texas. And think of guardianship like legal custody of a mentally incapacitated adult. Okay, normally it's a senior, but it's not always a senior, but normally it is. And if that person loses their mental capacity, they can't make rational decisions for themselves, and they haven't set up their estate to deal with this matter directly, the family goes through the probate court so that somebody gets the authority from the judge, from the court, to do business and make decisions on behalf of that mentally incapacitated person.
Gotcha.
So those are the two purposes for probate court in the state of Texas.
Sounds like that can be somewhat expensive. Do you think?
So it's my least preferred method of handling things. I prefer with my clients that we set things up to avoid the court system, because the court system is more expensive, it is more stressful, it is more time consuming, and it tends to lead to more family arguments, family disputes, things like that.
That's perfect, Brandon. So I'm sure that the audience is probably going to wonder, hey, how do I avoid that? And I'm sure we're going to talk about that at some point in our series here. But let's talk about wills. I mean, it's a lot of conversations from my clients. Many of them do have a will. Tell us about a will and what your thoughts are on that.
Okay. So the last will and testament, I call it the Model T Ford of estate planning. It's that good old-fashioned document that can help us out when somebody passes away. But understand the purpose of a last will and testament is to go through the court system, okay? A will does not help you avoid court. A lot of people think that, but it does not. The purpose is to go through the court system with a last will and testament so that the executor named in the will gets the authority from the court to go handle the estate. Now, it is much better than having nothing. Going through the probate courts with no documents whatsoever is a nightmare. It's terrible. It's expensive. It's super stressful. You get very micromanaged by the court. So everybody needs a last will and testament, in my opinion, no matter what, just in case. But the last will and testament will send us to the probate court after somebody dies relatively quickly, relatively inexpensively, and more stress-free than if you don't have a will, okay?
Got it. So a power of attorney, I hear this term a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of times we encourage our clients to have a power of attorney if they become incapacitated. Tell me what your thoughts are on that, having a power of attorney.
Yeah. So I want everybody to have one. Everybody should have a strong set of powers of attorney. We have 7 of them that we provide to our clients. And the purpose is this. If somebody loses their mental capacity, an adult, whether it's temporary or whether it's permanent, it allows a person of your choosing, whoever it is that you predetermined, to step in and immediately handle all of your medical decision making, right? All of it. Immediately handle all of your assets, pay your bills, receive income, communicate with the financial planners, rent the house, sell the house, whatever needs to be done, sell the car. So the powers of attorney allow us to not have to go through the probate court system for guardianship. If somebody becomes mentally incapacitated, that saves a lot of money. It saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of stress, and it in large degree can avoid big family arguments over that.
Perfect. Great information. Appreciate it. So this advanced healthcare directive, this sometimes I get even a little bit, confused about what that is and what all of that entails. So can you tell us about what that may be, Brendan, and why
Yes.
they need one?
Yeah. So we kind of lump it in with our power of attorney package,
Okay.
but really it's not. So what it is think of it this way: your medical power of attorney has the right to make all of your medical decisions. But if you choose to make decisions under advanced healthcare directive, you can decide that in very extreme situations of life support. So you're on life support, you're incapacitated. The doctors believe you're going to pass fairly soon, whether you're on life support or not, or the doctors believe that you have so much brain damage that I hate to use this word, but you're going to be more or less vegetated for the rest of your life. You're never going to come back and get out of the bed and live a normal life. You can determine if you would want to be kept on in those situations or removed. And that takes the decision-making power out of the medical power of attorney's hands. They don't make that call if you're on life support. The document that you signed and made decisions on, years ago, months ago, whatever the case may be, will tell the doctor what to do. Some people really like it. They like taking that decision-making power out of their loved one's hands. They think it'll stress them out to have to make the decision, or they think they may not make the decision they'd want to make because they're too emotional.
Sure.
Other people prefer the family member to make it. So there's not a right or wrong answer, but an advanced healthcare directive is something that everybody wants to look at and consider. And if you like the idea of making those life support decisions ahead of time without other people having to make them for you, then it's a great document to have in that scenario.
Got it. So the last thing on this will of estate planning are trusts. And this is a big one. And I know trusts are really important when it comes to trying to button up everything when it comes to your estate. But why don't you tell us how important having a trust is? And we're going to talk about a trust versus the will in another educational video that we're going to do. But tell us just briefly about a trust, Brandon.
Sure. So this is a huge topic. And so I'm going to kind of condense the important info and leave out some other details maybe for another time. But
yes,
basically what a trust can do for us, one of the big things is it allows us to avoid probate court after we die. It allows our family to avoid probate court. And it passes our assets on to other people of our choosing immediately without having to go through the court system.
got it.
A lot of people think that they hear the word trust and they think of, the Bass family or the Rockefellers or Bill Gates and, who am I to have a trust, right? But the reality is that a trust is generally going to be less expensive than your family going to court after you die. Okay, so it's going to be less expensive than the court system after you die if you don't have a trust. And it makes things so much less stressful and easier for the family. 2 other things that a trust can do, there's different things, but I'll mention 2 more that are real popular. It can help us avoid the federal estate tax if that tax applies to our estate, number 1. And it can help us distribute money over time to beneficiaries, meaning if I've got 2 kids and I think one of them has his act together in life, we can give him the money right away when I die. But if I have another one that maybe he's got some problems, I don't think it would be a good idea for him to get all the money at once. But at the same time, I don't want to cut that child out. we can give money to that child piecemeal over time into the future, right? Lots of different creative things people do there. So that in a nutshell is what a trust is.
Perfect. So, Brandon, I mean, I think you've actually definitely on our first video here, you've educated us really quite extensively on about some of the facets of estate planning. So we're going to look forward to having you back to go into a little bit deeper and maybe breaking down some of these topics even further, so we can really get a more detailed understanding of should we have a trust or should we have a will, what the differences are. So everybody, we want you to continue to subscribe to our channel. Thank all of you who've already subscribed to our channel. We're going to continue to try to bring these type of experts to the table so you can stay educated and not frustrated about what you're trying to do for your retirement situation. So thank you, Brandon. We'll look forward to having you back here soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And I can't wait to come back and speak to you guys some more.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, Andrea, I really hope that this interview today would have given our viewers some insight to what estate planning is and maybe encourage them to actually look at sitting down with an estate attorney to get their own affairs in order. So please remember that these videos are created for educational purposes only, and that you should always consult with your own financial advisor, your own tax advisor, and your own attorney regarding your personal situation. Also, if you're looking for a fiduciary advisor to help you with your retirement goals, please click on the link provided in the section below to get started becoming one of our high-value clients. For more information on this topic and any other topics that we've covered in our past videos, please feel free to reach out to our office or leave any questions or comments in the section below.
To learn more about our services and how we can help you to increase your chances of not outliving your retirement savings, make sure to click on the link in the description below and sign up for our free Maximizing Your Retirement Income Masterclass. After this video, please check out our other videos that we've created that will give you tips on how to maximize your retirement. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have questions,
we have answers.